发展部的宾利先生，以及我们的飞行教练 Tom。那等一下大家都会有很多时间可以跟他们交流意见。Carl 先生也是他们的副总经理来跟我们做介绍，欢迎 Carl。
Well, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I'd like to thank for the invitation here. It's a big chance for Grob Aircraft Company to present us in a completely new part of the world for us. Thanks for Apex that you invited us to have us here.
各位先生女士，非常开心有这个机会来这边跟各位展示一下我们的飞机。那这个当然也是因为我们跟这个安捷有合作的关系，这一次才有办法来到台湾。
We came more than 11,000 miles with our two airplanes, did many stopovers, and we are glad that we finally arrived here in the beautiful city of Taipei. Grob Aircraft Company is the only company left in Germany which is producing basically a whole aircraft. All the others, like Airbus and others, they buy parts and make an airplane out of it. So we are extremely proud that we have our own airfield. You see in the picture here in the southern part of Germany. It's a beautiful area. It's more or less hilly and with lots of forests, like you know your island of Taiwan here. In our company, we are producing since more than 45 years composite-made airplanes. We basically started with glider airplanes, then we went to the military training airplanes like this one here, the family of 120 Alphas 115s and the 120 TP. And we did also high altitude research airplanes, which is the Strato 2. We developed the first time a 56-meter wingspan full composite wing, and this was 25 years ago. So you see, this is a big part of our history, coming from gliders, going to motor-driven gliders, and then even developing composite jets in the business sector. And then we decided to specialize on military trainers, so starting basically in the year 2005, we went for the military trainers. And this is our main aircraft to produce until now. Here you see where the Grob family is stationed all over the planet, from Northern America through Latin America, over all the way to Australia. It's about time that we add some more spots here in the Asian market. We went through Myanmar with our customers, and we have airplanes in Indonesia since almost 3 years. So since the time is short, I'd like to elaborate a little bit on our Grob 120 TP training system, which is basically a closed circle, not only involving airplane, it's simulator training, it's virtual classroom, and all things involved in a modern military training environment. This is how the traditional training syllabus nowadays look like. We like to basically have your Taiwanese Air Force training schedule here. It's also the training schedule I've been used to when I was a fighter pilot in the German Air Force for more than 40 years. So it's basically an increasing thing from the basic training up to the light fighters, and then it's getting more and more costly. So as Grob Aircraft, we decided a couple of years ago that the philosophy has to change, because the new fighters, you know, frontline fighters like F-16s or Gripen jets or F-22 American jets, they are called carefree to handle. That means the challenge for the pilots itself to fly the airplane is not like it was in the old times when we flew F-104 starfighters and Phantom jets. The challenge nowadays is that they have to operate a highly complex system in the digital world. So we decided to develop a platform which is easy to fly, but reflects a highly digital cockpit, which is basically unique in this class. And this is basically our philosophy about future flight training. The student starts in the first 15 hours with our 120 TP with a reduced power set, not to overwhelm him with the performance of the airplane. Then he does primary and basic flying training in a side-by-side cockpit, which we think is mandatory to teach a digital cockpit layout. And then after about 70 to 80 hours, he would receive his wings. During that period, we decide then to stream him to go for the fighter pilot training, go for transport pilot training, or go to fly helicopters. The fighter pilot then has basically still the same cockpit he is familiar with, and then he does high performance maneuvers, some basic fighter maneuvers under high G stress environment. The transport pilot does his training like he's supposed to do later on as a co-pilot in a transport airplane. I should mention here that our philosophy is to have the student on the right-hand seat. That means he is familiar with right hand on stick, left hand on throttle, which means it's for the fighters, for the transport, or even for helicopters the same. To mention again the helicopters, there are different philosophies in different air forces. Some do only helicopter flying, some do fixed wing flying and helicopter flying afterwards. This is just a system highlight which shows you what special things we stressed on. So the G520 and G, we call them eye in the sky, is really some unique airplane. It was developed more than 25 years ago to be a high-altitude reconnaissance and surveillance airplane for the German Air Force. It was still during the Cold War when the German Air Force decided we need a high-flying reconnaissance platform to fly along the inner German border and look into the Soviet Union by that time. Actually, then 5 airplanes were built, and the one we present here right now is the only double-seater trainer airplane for this kind of aircraft ever produced. One unique figure is the wingspan of 33 meters, and again the material is full composite. The airplane is basically a big glider airplane with a powerful engine on it. It climbs up to 55,000 feet in a relatively good time. We are talking about something like 50 minutes going up to 45,000 feet. And it's basically made to stay up there for at least 10 to 12 hours and do the reconnaissance mission. A real unique thing is the payload, and the payload bay you see down here and here. We are talking about 1,000 kilogram, 1 ton of payload. This is much more than other compatible airplanes would carry, because if you remember, during those times the electronic equipment was much heavier and much bigger than it's nowadays. Since the aircraft structure is independent from the payload bay here, you can modify whatever you want to have in here. Here is, by the way, a picture to see the size of this special mission compartment here. So you can basically change this in a very short time. Here you see different features. The lower bay, you can even modify the upper bay, and then you have optical sensors or you have radars included. The airplane is also a perfect relay station with SATCOM antennas wherever you want to have it. We decided to introduce the same cockpit technology that we are using in our 120 TP. It's a full digital cockpit from Genesis Aeronautics, but it's still under development. So the airplane we show you today still has the old cockpit layout. Here we have just an example of a high-definition camera from Argus, a German part of Airbus Defence and Space. This is one thing which is to be negotiated with the customer, what kind of mission equipment hardware he wants. The camera itself, you see on this picture, is retractable, so for takeoff and landing it goes inside. By the way, here you see one of our huge hangars we have in the company itself. It has a door opening of 65 meters. So now you see that's a big hangar where even the Strato with a wingspan of 56 meters could be fitted in. Here we have another sensor equipment. It's a radar, specially developed from Airbus Defence. This is mainly used to do sea patrol, to identify targets and to link it down to the ground station. It's a very modern equipment. It only weighs about 420 kilograms, and you could even put it underneath the wing with special bolts or have it inside the fuselage. This unique radar gives you the capability to detect targets in a range around 500 kilometers around the airplane itself, so if it flies at 45,000 feet. Then you can zoom in and identify single ships like this bulk carrier here, which has about a length of 255 meters. But you also can detect land targets, moving targets like harvested here, and you see the map looks almost identical like a normal map, but don't forget it's a radar picture. So we have different scenarios where the airplane could be used. It might be even an environmental control, border protection, infrastructure surveillance, communications. So there are lots of civil issues also for this airplane. This is another footprint I mentioned for the scanning, especially if you do sea patrol with the airplane. But the most important part is that our airplane is certified with a pilot, and not like all the high-flying Hales and Males, which are not allowed to fly into civil airspace. They only can use restricted airspace. This is an example for the Southeast Asia China Sea, where we go and have an orbit set up here, and you see how big the area is which could be covered by one airplane. This is another basic operational concept for maritime operations. I do not want to go into further details here, because this is more or less a military option. Here you see the 520 in a typical mission. That means you have 2 aircrafts on station, and then you can cover all the area shown on that picture. You know, this is a summary for the maritime operation. You can track targets like depicted here, but you also can do some electronic reconnaissance and data reconnaissance with the airplane. And this sums it up to be a very neat, high-flying reconnaissance airplane. And one thing I should mention right here, it's compared to our competitors, the Hales and Male drones, about 20 times less expensive. So ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for having us here to present it. Now I would say it's about time to go out and see the real airplanes.